Welcome to Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. Your Day Weather Podcast being brought to you by ConverseCountyTourism.com. Feel the energy of Converse County. Explore Douglas's railroad heritage, Ayers Natural Bridge, and the Jackalope legend. Glen Rock boasts scenic trails, dinosaur history, and small town charm. Plan your visit at ConverseCountyTourism.com. Well, beautiful blue skies over the region formed yesterday as the weekend system moved out, and the nice warm up that we talked about yesterday is still on schedule for today and tomorrow. Really is going to be a couple of really nice days, and enjoy and take advantage of the next 2 days because a cold front is going to bring a rather rude awakening to a lot of the central and northern Rockies as we get into the second half of the week. Really, this all gets started Wednesday night in Montana. Then Thursday and Friday across Wyoming, into Colorado, into parts of Idaho, Utah, even into the southwestern United States, a big change in the weather is coming. We need to give a heads up to livestock interests, anybody that may be calving or lambing as we get into the Thursday through Sunday timeframe needs to be prepared for a much colder pattern and a pattern of areas of rain, and there will be many of you in Wyoming and many areas in the higher elevations of Colorado that are going to get snowed on. We'll even see snow levels get down to 5,000 feet in some areas of the high plains as this system comes in out of Canada. This will cause some travel concerns as well, and it's going to remain cool and unsettled Easter weekend. We still need some time to get the complete Easter weekend sorted out. I think more for most of you, it's just going to be a chilly Easter weekend, but there could be some wet weather out into the plains and some thunderstorm activity. And we do see the pattern remaining unsettled for all of next week. In the meantime, some nice photos of some cloud streets there with some altocumulus clouds over northwest Colorado this weekend. We won't see a lot of those today. In fact, we're going to see a lot of sunshine today and a lot of sunshine tomorrow before we see some of these puffy white clouds beginning to come back into the mix, especially tomorrow afternoon and evening, as we will get a little bit of cloud buildup. Before we get to the Earth weather, let's talk space weather. There were 2 coronal mass ejections over the weekend. So what does that mean? Well, with 2 coming, and some of this being directed towards the Earth, there is a geomagnetic storm watch for April 16th. Now, it could go into April 17th. What does this mean? Well, for you aurora watchers, there may be some aurora borealis activity. We'll see possibly in some of the northern latitudes tomorrow into early Thursday. Now, it won't be completely clear. But there will be some clouds, but there may be some opportunities if the aurora shows in the northern latitudes, something to keep in mind. The surface map this morning shows a cold frontal boundary along the Gulf Coast here. We have generally high pressure over a lot of the nation, and the satellite imagery shows there really isn't much going on. Now, down here in the southwestern United States, there's an upper level low off the California coast feeding some instability and a little bit of moisture. So there's going to be some weak thunderstorm and sprinkle activity here in the southwestern United States today. Here's the troublemaker up in northwest Canada, all the way up into the Northwest Territories. We've got an area of low pressure here and cold air piling up. But in the meantime, here's the nice weather for today and into Wednesday. There's that upper low over California. Here's what's forming up in the Northwest Territories. Watch what happens with this high pressure ridge right here as we go through the next couple of days. So today, broad area of high pressure, nice and warm. Temperatures today, the temperature anomaly in the west, warm. Look how cold it is in the east. We're going to be pretty warm today, pretty warm on Wednesday. But notice what happens up in British Columbia and Alberta and Saskatchewan and northern Montana. All the way into Great Falls there and even just north of Billings by late tomorrow afternoon. So late tomorrow afternoon, a lot of Montana will be seeing a steep drop in temperatures in developing areas of rain and snow. So when we take a look at the precipitation chances just for today and tomorrow, we talked about that spotty shower and thunderstorm activity today. There's the lightning strike potential, and that's for tomorrow. Tomorrow you can see into the Texas Panhandle as there's more instability being introduced not only from the low here, but also the frontal boundary approaching in from Montana. We talked about a convergence of air masses yesterday coming together over the central Rockies, and you're going to see that. But at least for today and tomorrow, this is the precipitation forecast. You can see along the east slopes of the Canadian Rockies into northern Montana, upslope starts to form behind the cold front. So you're getting precipitation up there as early as tomorrow afternoon. But the rest of the West, warm temperatures, sunshine, afternoon cloud buildup, a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Then by noon Thursday, that trough really takes a dive south. We told you to look at that high. Look at the high building quickly. So when the ridge builds there, we go to the fridge, and the northerly flow out of Canada is quite impressive. And that's going to bring in a much, much colder air mass, and that is going to be coming through Montana, Wyoming, then into Colorado by Thursday and into Friday. By noon Friday, the cold air will get draped along and east of the divide, along the Front Range. Then we have southwest winds aloft over the colder air. We call that overrunning. So the convergence of the much colder air coming in from the north, southwest winds aloft coming in, and we're going to have a little bit of an upslope component. The upper level winds aloft will be different, but at the surface, we're going to have an east to northeast flow as that cold front sinks south. And if you watch how things evolve from tomorrow afternoon into Thursday, then overnight Thursday into the day on Friday, you can see where there's going to be an axis of heavier precipitation from southwest Utah into Wyoming, into parts of western Nebraska. This area could go north or south. It could move around a little bit, but it does appear that this is going to be where there's going to be a good convergence of air masses up here along the Montana-Wyoming border as well. You put these two together, and then you factor in the fact that this takes us through Saturday. Look at the cold. We showed you that this was an impressive shot of cold air yesterday, and you can see how the cold lines up with that convergence of air masses from the southwest to the northeast. Temperatures during the day Friday. This is at 3 o'clock Friday afternoon. These aren't wind chills. These are temperatures. So look how cold it's going to be, especially in this area right here. So the precipitation starts as rain. It's going to end as snow. And we need to kind of keep an eye on south central Wyoming, the higher elevations, the Laramie Valley, the Snowy Range, the Summit area, the Laramie Range Mountains, the Bighorns. You can see the Beartooth, Wind Rivers here, then all of the Colorado mountains, and look at the Utah mountains, and look at even the mountains in northern Arizona. So there is going to be a pretty good shot of winter weather coming in Thursday night into Friday. Now, beyond Friday, still some question marks, but you see this upper level low right here? This upper level low is likely going to be a good rainmaker for Kansas, Oklahoma, parts of central and eastern Nebraska, then into the Corn Belt as it swings out to the plains over Easter weekend. Then look what's coming in behind it, another cold, moist trough off the Pacific Northwest coast, heading into the central and northern Rockies by Monday and Tuesday. So it's going to be busy. This is the second wave. Again, this could be adjusted a bit. But what I wanted to highlight here is that an area that really needs some rain right here is going to have a good chance of rain and higher elevation snow. Then look at the rain from Oklahoma, Kansas, into central and eastern Nebraska, into the northwest Corn Belt. Here's the next wave that's coming in for late Monday and the Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So things are going to be busy. Enjoy today and tomorrow. It is not going to be as nice as it's going to be today and tomorrow for quite a bit, as the weather patterns are changing and will be changing and staying unsettled well into next week. So there we go through Sunday. Then as we go into Monday, here's that next low coming in on the back side. As long as we keep this ridge here, this will allow systems from the Gulf of Alaska and Western Canada to slide into the west. So we'll have more for you tomorrow. Have yourself a good Tuesday.